Hello and welcome to Straight from Cloverfield, episode 150. I'm your host Ralph. Last week we had stuff going on, and this week we did too. But I decided to do a show and decided to come here, a different place. So the background is not the same as it usually is. But we have an art show today, a Wolf Council art show about activism and issues with equality and the understanding that justice is a fraud. It's just us, and we got power, and we can together come together and have real grievances, not petty things, not stuff that's petty. Real grievances and concern for the safety of others. When something is not right, you know in your heart, stand together against oppression everywhere. So, this is the topic we're going to talk about today. Never given a say ends today. I'm sick and tired of decisions being made on individual with disabilities' behalf without their input. Finally, I had somebody sit down and talk at our complex. They were having trouble. Somebody that actually listened. For the longest time, nobody listened. Always had management that was very lack compassion and empathy for individuals with disabilities. So, working on that case, and hopefully, we see the changes that disabled people deserve instead of being oppressed and not being listened to, and being included once in a while in decisions made on their behalf. Right? But that's not how people decide what's best for other people without their input. And be talking about people as if they're dumb. And even if somebody has an intellectual disability, include them anyway. Even if you don't think they can hear you. There's instances of people that was in comas and things where people didn't believe that they could hear and be aware. There's a soul in that body. I don't care if they can talk or not. I don't care if they like children things or not. I don't care. That's a human being. More people need to come together and put themselves in other people's shoes instead of making decisions on people's behalf. And I know there are conditions where you cannot communicate with somebody. But somebody, they need to have a compassionate team, make sure they're around people and make sure somebody in that condition is not being neglected. And with people that can't fucking communicate their wishes, they still have individuals making choices on behalf of people that they don't fucking know. Everybody deserves dignity whether or not they can speak or communicate in a way that somebody might find acceptable. There's many ways of communication. Everybody has their own way of communicating, whether they can speak or not. And they deserve to have somebody that respects dignity and listen. So, never given a say ends today. Talking about issues where individuals are never given a say, which need to be addressed. There needs to be a dignity coalition or something. That's why we have the Wolf Council. The selective service and the draft are non-consensual. All order followers are morally culpable as well. Now you wonder, what does that have to do with disabled rights? It's yet another thing that is just put into place with people not being given a say. Then there's that conscientious objection thing. And I didn't realize that. That's just something that's saying, well, you don't have to be on the battlefield, but you still have to. No. No war participation. All this funding, they got infinite funding for war, right? But they want to give disabled people the bare minimum. They want to take their benefit away when they get married. Disability don't change with marital status. If somebody do not want to participate in a predatory, violent situation, they should not have anything to do with any part of it. I don't care if they're on the battlefield or not. No. Constitutional disability. No, period. Boycott that shit. Because it ain't fucking necessary, and nobody belong invading other people's land. Somebody forced to be a healthcare provider for that situation. So to make somebody else better that don't care about starving children, so to make them better so they can go out and keep doing it. That ain't right. Nobody, under any circumstance, to be forced against their will to do anything or sign anything, even jury duty. School. If a child don't fit for school. Don't force a child, if it's not a good fit for them, to do that, to have to go to school. Especially for a child that has terminal condition such as Duchenne muscular dystrophy. If the school is not a good fit for a child, which some children do have trouble, then let them decide how they want to live their life. Especially if a child has an illness that is not expected to get far into adulthood. And everybody should have a personal choice about how they want to construct their lives instead of being fucking shipped on a goddamn bus that take up lots of fucking earth and pollute the planet so they can be brainwashed. Give it a hearing test that can adjust their ear frequency, right? But seeing these videos, why? Why? Most children have a doctor. Why is the school even fucking interfering with their doctor shit? Why? Why was there a hearing test? I've been reading up on that, and somebody was explaining like it was like some kind of a frequency adjustment disguised as a hearing test. There was they had people drinking some kind of solution, and they had people looking at some cards or something. What they looking at? They're trying to find people that they're going to think is going to be a little divergent to their plan. Is that it? No, never even to say ends today. Don't force somebody to go to college if it's not a good fit. Don't force somebody to not go to college if that's what they want. Everybody has the right to construct their own life in their own way as long as they're not bothering or hurting nobody. The Albany ARC still contains a letter of a derogatory name for citizens with intellectual disabilities. They choose to be hypocritical and prioritize saving money over dignity. What a shame that the bastards that own this organization are too cheap to change a name that disrespects people that use that organization. These people that also run these organizations that want to be on a power trip, right, and control people, well, they will never job or an organization without disabled citizens that use it. Just because somebody may not be able to understand that letter represents something demeaning to them doesn't make it acceptable. I find it offensive that the individual that the organization was created for should be allowed to choose the name of the organization that claims to represent them together. I'm tired of non-disabled bureaucrats making choices for disabled individuals without their input. Another case. Wildwood. Wildwood once abused disabled citizens. Now they have rebranded into a place that bribes them into working for less pay because they have disability benefits. Wildwood was an institution for disabled individuals at one time. They was abused and neglected. They did caregivers with compassion. Instead, they were left to their own excrement, abused and mistreated. Today, unsanitary conditions are no longer accepted. Individuals with disabilities, however, are still institutionalized. They should be included in more public settings instead of just doctor hospital visits. Wildwood has rebranded into an institution of bribery. A digital brochure came up on our feed. It said, free pizza and employment opportunities. It looks to me like a gaslight to con disabled people into jobs most others don't want for less pay because disability benefits count against workers with disabilities. How many are lower than something they may not want to do, but someone with an agenda to take advantage of their labor coerce them? I don't like seeing the disabled community being exploited and taken advantage of, especially by a cruel institution that has treated the disabled like shit in the past and still has the nerve to keep the same name as if their crimes against humanity have been forgotten. we do not forget. Fuck Wildwood. Now, the ADA is a failure. What is handicap accessible? A grab bar does not transform a dwelling into a handicapped accessible living space. A grab bar, in many cases, such as my partner, is a convenience that makes life easier. A flat floor roll-in shower, as in her late husband's case, who had Duchenne muscular dystrophy, is an essential need to make a complete bathing experience possible for somebody with severe mobility impairments. Some people want to be petty, calling it ADA accessible, handicap accessible, versus wheelchair accessible. Why has the handicapped accessible logo always been an image of an individual in a wheelchair? A dwelling that is advertised as handicap accessible should never be allowed to have that title, especially if there's a tub. They should be fined for false advertising. Landlords and hotel owners have choices. Individuals that need roll-in showers don't. Those only concerned about costs to building owners have no idea what a real inconvenience is for someone with chronic mobility impairments. A grab bar does not deem a dwelling handicap accessible, so respectfully, fuck the ADA. It's about time that everybody to band together, not be coerced, not be afraid, come together. Because when you come together, because the people that come together, when people come together, the people have the power of global consensus, not the fucking elite bullshitter. They call them elite, right? They're not elite. They fucking cracked out psychopaths with a fucking delusional sense of psychopathy. Delusions of grandeur. Psychopaths. Downright psychopaths. And also, I'm going to talk about this next time, but I had more grievances. I'm going to continue that next week. But I just recently realized that Agent Orange has been rebranded in White Phosphorus. So Agent Orange have a new name. Agent Orange, a.k.a. White Phosphorus. That they spraying in children in Lebanon and Palestine's faces at the moment. And they poison people in Vietnam that never got fucking recognized. And Bayer still have a handsome profit. Boycott that shit. Bayer is a fucking criminal, psychopathic organization. You know what? They spraying that shit here, way high up. They want to deny the chemtrails and the fucking fog and the depressing days. But here it's a slow kill. There, they spraying it right in a child's face. So, they don't care about children, and you need to protect your children. And everybody need to protect each other and stand up. Because we have the power of global consensus, like that being said in the alien interview. And whether somebody wants to say it's fake or not fake, it don't matter. What that being said was truth. So listen to the alien interview. Because the thing that is going to get us out of this is together, come together, global consensus. Global consensus. Natural law. Looking out for each other. Not infringing on people's right to live how they want to live and not hurt nobody. That's the key. Do no harm, take no shit. That's natural law. So, thank you for listening, and I will see you on the next one.